Ripple versus SEC case. SEC takes another L. And we will be jumping into the charts today, taking a look at XRP. Crazy day. Lots of sideways trading all day. Just a couple last hours starting to surge up a little tiny bit. We are green again for the fourth day in a row, which is interesting, even though they're micro green blips. Up 1.39%, and we are potentially going to be crossing over to the upside of the market baseline. That is obviously super positive news. So in today's video, we will be taking a look at the charts, weekly, daily, 4-hour, and we're going to be jumping over to the article. Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse tells where crypto market is headed as XRP lawsuit heads for conclusion. And the SEC takes another L. Accredify failed to file its amicus brief on behalf of the SEC by the deadline last night. They can't get anyone to do anything for them properly. So that leaves the final tally at 14 amicus briefs or friends of the court in support of Ripple and 1 for SEC. So for Americans, Ripple scored 2 touchdowns and the SEC got a 1-point safety ? And if you've ever watched Jeremy Hogan's videos on YouTube talking about the case, you would get that for sure. And then checking in here with James K. Phelan, XRP community versus SEC in the Ripple list of amicus briefs filed by November 18th, 2022 deadline. Credit to Sherry Empress. And here it is, guys. So amicus briefs that have been filed: 1, Chamber of Digital Commerce; 2, I Remit. And these are in support of Ripple and why XRP is so important. 3, TapJets. 4, I Can. 5, Spin the Bits. 6, Coinbase. Number 7, Blockchain Associates. Number 8, Paradigm Ops. Number 9, John Deaton himself. Number 10, VeriDAO. Number 11, Reaper Financial. Number 12, CCI, Cryptillion, or 12, CCI, 13, Cryptillion, 14, NSEI, and 15, Valhill Capital. That shows 15 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it's 15 to 1. And the formal brief not filed by November 18th deadline was Accredify. Motion to file amicus brief not filed by November 11, 22 deadline was William Cunningham. Also, while we're here looking at James's account, this case is just getting out of hand. Like, it's crazy. I want to keep bringing you a little bit of sprinkles of stuff on the case, but you know, it is what it is. Like, the guy's a fraud. He's been stealing everybody's money. But as we can see here, Wall Street Journal news exclusive, FTX's Sam Bankman-Fried cashed out $300 million. So nearly 3/4 of the $420 million that FTX raised in a fundraising blitz last year went to Sam Bankman-Fried himself. Jeez almighty, this guy. And then what's really weird is, if you guys have been keeping track, the mainstream media keeps on coming out with these information, this news articles about the guy, about how he's this most amazing philanthropic guy. This was just an accident. He fell from the heavens. There's no way that he could really be a fraud. Meanwhile, all the evidence is showing this. So it is a complete disconnect from reality with the mainstream media. Fake news, as they say. It is wild and crazy what is going on. But let's jump into the news before getting over to those charts. So let's see what Brad Garlinghouse talks about the crypto market. So Brad says that he believes the crypto industry will become stronger because of the ongoing market crisis, as long as participants keep focusing on transparency and trust. And Garlinghouse said in a tweet, "As I said on stage, I firmly believe that crypto will be stronger. Because of this, we keep focusing on transparency and trust." Garlinghouse also stated that it is imperative that the crypto industry have honest conversations about solving real-world problems with crypto and blockchain. With the ongoing market crash and the ups and downs the industry has been this year, Ripple has and will continue to lead in regard, he added. Garlinghouse also noted that RippleNet, its remittance arm, which connects financial institutions around the globe, has processed $30 billion in both fiat and crypto payments. Ripple has also recently partnered with MFS Africa, the largest payment gateway in Africa, bringing the total number of payment markets it's provided on-demand liquidity, ODL, servicing for roughly 40 countries and markets now. Brad also stated and opined that FTX Exchange, the major contributor to the latest cross-crypto market crash, was scheming. Like much of the crypto industry, he told CNBC that the company lacked transparency and proper regulation. Now, here's also Brad Garlinghouse speaking today on regulation, and it ensures trust and transparency. So let's go ahead and check this out.
Company like Coinbase in the United States, very regulated, public company, audited financials. And here you got a private company based in the Bahamas, and purportedly what the former CEO of FTX has represented is that FTX US is solvent. I don't know. I think there's a lot of information out there. I don't know.
So FTX US is different from the FTX International, and FTX US being solvent, meaning that they do not have to go bankrupt potentially.
What the truth is right now. But I think the idea that it's not regulated is overstated. The UK actually has really been a leader in crypto regulation. Countries like Singapore, Japan, the UK have led much of that. And as CZ described, what happened here, I don't think it was about crypto regulation. It was maybe fraud. Maybe, that's true in many, many industries, not specific to crypto.
And that's the point that a lot of people are missing on this FTX case, because obviously we're looking for regulation. Brad Garlinghouse supports regulation. He wants regulation to come, but not regulation by judgment, right? That's what the SEC is trying to do. They're trying to bring judgment against Ripple and against XRP. Brad wants, obviously, clarity. He wants regulation, because once the regulation's there, then boom, we can go off to the moon. And not only XRP, right, but Ripple, the company. Ripple, the company, is also having issues because of the United States holding them up on a big portion of potential.
I've talked to my colleagues here. I said, but I wasn't going to ask you the first question, is, are you a crook, Brad? Because I don't think you are for 1 minute. No, I genuinely, we've spoken on many occasions. But the problem is, what I think, whether you are or not, or whether SBF is or not, or whether CZ is or not, it's irrelevant. And that protection that comes from the regulation that you and Karen were just discussing there surely would take out the guessing whether when you put your money in this wallet or you invest in this product, whether it is being run by crooks. And you're absolutely right. There's a lot of fraudulent activity in all kinds of financial products. But it does appear that crypto is attracting more than its fair share of crooks.
I guess what I would say is, anytime you have the formative stages of an industry, it draws all kinds of interesting people, charlatans, and potentially crooks. Again, I'm taking there's some facts.
And I'm not accusing anyone. I know. But you've raised it, the fraudulent activity. There is a high.
And the more and more facts that come out about the FTX situation show that it was a fraud. But the problem is the whole idea of fraud in crypto. Remember, Congress was always trying to put that in everyone's mind. Only drug dealers and gun runners are using crypto. It's all bad, right? And this is way back when it first started. That was the excuse. We know that's not true, but that is still kind of that's what the mainstream media still wants people to think.
Chance that SBN has been conducting some illegal activity. There is a chance, and I say nothing's been proven.
I agree with everything you said there. Look, crypto has never just been sunshine and roses. I think crypto as an industry needs to mature. You and I have spoken a number of times, and I think Ripple has always tried to be very corporate focused, very much. And frankly, even though we are a private company and not regulated in certain ways as a public company, we're extremely transparent. Starting 5 years ago, we started publishing quarterly reports around everything we see going on in XRP markets. We publish how much XRP we sold, how much we own. These aren't things we're required to do. We do it because transparency builds trust. And if we want the industry to not, not go through some of these things, we need to continue.
So why with Gary rather than against him? Why can't you guys bury the hatchet and find a way forward that you can make it a regulated product? This is Gary Gensler I'm talking about, the FTC.
Look, the United States, interestingly, is the only country on the planet that thinks that XRP is a security. We operate we're actually.
So what's the real reason, right? That's the other thing we have to, and this is not a conspiracy theory, but why is the United States so hardcore against Ripple? Is it because they're going to lose some of the grip that they have on the power with their currency, and they want the CBDC to be the only way to do this?
Growing leaps and bounds outside the United States. 95% of our customers are non-US. Just this week, we announced our key kind of product using XRP. It is now live into Africa. So we continue to grow. The dynamic in the United States, I think, is, really the SEC not following what the law says and trying to grab power, because the Securities and Exchange Commission can only regulate securities. If these aren't securities, then they can't regulate that. I think you're seeing someone try to power grab as opposed to work constructively with the industry. Frankly, there is a process for the SEC to do rule making, public comment, great rules. Enforcement, trying to regulate through enforcement is not constructive for any industry.
Just on that, I mean, where are we on a end of for the XRP story with the SEC? Because as you would have seen, I think you got a 10% spike in XRP on the back of speculation that it was done, it was over, and then it was perhaps dismissed as not over. So where are we on the court case?
So, I mean, the good news, this is all in the public court, so it's all very transparent. Again, transparency builds trust. The motions for summary judgment have been filed. They will be fully briefed in front of the court. It's in the Southern District of Southern District of New York. Probably getting that slightly wrong, but that'll be done by the end of November. So the case will be before the judge by the end of November. The question is, how long does a federal judge take to make a decision on this case? It could be 2 months, it could be 6 months. We don't know. My best guess is certainly in the first half of next year, there'll be closure here. And this is a truly pivotal case.
So again, they keep on saying, well, first off, they said the first quarter of 2023. Now he just mentioned the first half. The can continues to be kicked down the road by the SEC.
For the crypto industry in the United States. The United States is still the largest economy. I think we all in the crypto industry should care how this goes. But this really is the SEC trying to say this is all us. Gary Gensler has said he views nearly all crypto as securities. But frankly, he hasn't gone after a Coinbase. If he thinks all crypto securities, well, that means Coinbase is trading unregistered securities. They're a publicly registered SEC regulated company, but he hasn't done that. So kind of what does he actually believe? This case will be.
And not only Coinbase, but now we also know Robinhood has real crypto wallets, so they would be in the same boat as that as well.
Pretty seminal in making that determination.
Yeah, and I think it's very useful, coming back to your point about setting out the guardrails and regulation. Cases like this help provide some precedents so we can understand then how the law interprets this. But let me ask you a slightly different question, because I'm probably the biggest conspiracy theorist around this desk here, and
I like where this is going.
What do you think about this? We've seen the blockchain and use of the blockchain progress, even as there's been this whole other stuff going on with FTX and so on and so forth. And in the background, the blockchain has been adopted for CBDC experiments. The Bank of France issued a bond with it, and so on. So it's happening. Is there a story here or a narrative where every time one of these blow-ups happen, it solidifies the case for the authorities to ring fence digital and crypto around a CBDC, and your industry dies unless you get on?
So let me know down in the comments section, do you think that they're working on a world CBDC? Is that like the plan? Because you got to think about it. If you were wanting to control a population, the best way to control them is to be able to turn on and off their money. So if everything is run by digital currency, CBDCs, and your Bank of America account doesn't have fiat in it anymore, it's just CBDCs, and they don't want you to be able to buy anything this month because you got a ticket for speeding or whatever, and they just want to turn you off.
With a government-mandated, central bank-controlled digital currency.
I view these as separate pieces. Central bank CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, I think may have a role in the future of crypto. Ripple has publicly announced several countries we're working with, where countries, to your point, are doing pilots and testing, issuing central bank really stable coins of a fiat on the XRP ledger. Those are countries like Romania and Bhutan. But right now, I view those as tests. Separately, I mean, those are all stable coins, right? They're tied to a fiat. Separately, obviously, you have cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, like XRP that trade independent of any fiat. I don't view as one versus the other. And I think, Ripple has always taken the point of view that these are complementary. We're trying to work with the industry. And at the end of the day, if you have a plethora of CBDCs, you still have the need to settle from the British pound to the Argentinian peso. And we're really trying to position XRP, because it's so scalable, because it's so cheap per transaction, so fast, as that bridge asset. If we can make the entire global economy more efficient for global trade by using that bridge asset, again, the core of what Ripple's solving today, a cross-border transaction, typically viewed as SWIFT, is slow, it's expensive, it's error-prone. We should not rely upon technology from literally 50 years ago.
Great insights there from the man, Brad Garlinghouse. That was on the show on CNBC called First on CNBC. That was a good interview there. All right, before we jump in the charts, just to touch on real quickly what else is trending in the whole entire crypto ecosphere. We have on-chain metrics suggest that crypto is nearing the bottom of the bear market despite recent price woes, Into the Block says. We also have, despite Solana's tumble among the FTX collapse, the community is keeping its hopes high. And the interesting thing about Solana is, unfortunately, FTX held a junk ton of it, and they end up having to sell it, liquidate, so they can get some money and so on. Well, I mean, I guess really Sam Bankman-Fried liquidated it and then kept it for himself. It wasn't to try and save FTX, that's for darn sure. But FTX has crumbled quite significantly. FTX illustrated why banks need to take over cryptocurrency. That is the worst take I've ever heard in my entire life. But that is one of those conspiracy theories. Again, what if the regular old traditional finance just ends up taking over all of new finance? Grayscale won't share proof of reserves, citing security concerns. That is kind of scary, by the way. Grayscale, if you've not heard, their parent company ended up having to buy all of the shares because people are dumping the Grayscale stock on the market and nobody wants it. The parent company is picking it up, but there is a possibility that Grayscale ends up going under as well. So another one of those dominoes waiting to fall. This will be covered. Brad Garlinghouse tells the whole crypto market is headed as XRP lawsuit heads for conclusion. Decentralization index from Cardano builder U of Edinburgh will help users understand assets. And it's really interesting with how much hate and crap Cardano takes. Like, I don't know, man. It's starting to feel like Cardano is built right. And I don't even know what to say, man. But like, I'm starting to feel more bullish. I mean, obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. I'm not buying anything as we talk about on this channel. I'm very bullish on XRP. And I actually sold all of my Cardano a long time ago. And I'm starting to feel like I'm going to have to scoop some of that up for sure. Pantera buys $140 million in Bitcoin, which is interesting. And also, not here, but Michael Saylor and MicroStrategies is getting very close to, they're getting to a liquidation point too. I think his number's at 14,000 and they're continuing to buy more to kind of add to their position so they don't end up collapsing, but that's not looking good for them. So let's jump to the charts.
If you're ready to earn an extra $200 to $3,000 per day in passive income, just like the Run Guys do every single day, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, then click the link in the description of this video to learn the Run Guys' #1 way to start earning passive income online with crypto today.
All right, so here we are now on the daily charts, and price did run up 1.92% today. It looks like it's bouncing off the 14 exponential moving average and having a rejection here. As we covered at the opening of the video, we're getting really close on the RSI to crossing back over the market baseline. But you can see we've been running bearish. So in fact, we've been running in the bearish scenario all the way back since here when it hit this peak up there at the 55-cent level. And then it just immediately came down, broke below market baseline, and it's been trickling down ever since. Nothing major hardcore, but then we had that fake Friday move, boom, and then that was the beginning of the sell-off, which was a pretty dramatic downward swing there. But right now you can see we have the green background, which indicates a more bearish scenario, but the real bear, or this indicates a bullish scenario. I was looking at this bullish scenario here for the short term, but we're very likely crossing over the market baseline here, flipping back to full bull unless we reject. There's likelihood we just bounced off the 14 exponential. That could also mean we bounce off of this tomorrow, continue heading our way down. Because remember, we did have an official break below our trend lines with breaks indicator by Lux Algo. Yes, it came down crashing hard, but as you can see, it never made it to the oversold territory of 30. The other interesting thing, we were trading inside of this triangle and we already broke out. So this very likely could be that fake out breakout, and then we make our way back down. So I'm keeping a very close eye on this. Looking at the weekly charts, we're ending a solid weekly bull candle. It's piercing into the previous week's candle. The other thing that we've been talking about, let's see, is it already up here? Fair value gap. Let's turn that to off. And let's turn on a fair value gap indicator here. You can see, I mean, we're still continuing to push a little tiny bit into this. This needs to be filled. And what's interesting too, our 14 exponential moving average on the weekly puts the price right at that 50% level of the fair value gap. So that's interesting there. Going back to where we are originally talking about yesterday, price in this pattern, this pennant pattern, this is the, oh, we're going to go back there. There we go. So this is the flagpole. Then you have the pennant pattern. So if this breaks out, if that's the top and we have this breakdown, that's a possibility. But usually you take it from the bottom of the breakout. So let's say that it happens here-ish. That puts us at that 14-cent level. But 50% of that level gets us to that 25-cent level. And again, the reason why I'm covering that is on the weekly charts, this is a supply and demand level. If we go to Heikin-Ashi candles, and we zoom in here, or it's actually on the daily, sorry. So on the daily, this is a supply and demand zone that needs to be yellow. That is where I personally feel, my personal opinion, where price is going to be coming back to as the rest of these dominoes continue to fall and cryptos continue to crash, because there is this also fair value gap that's in that same exact location. And that one comes all the way back to us from here, which was January of 2021. So that is likely to get filled. And I'm only saying that because that is typically what happens. So we have this fake move to the upside right now. Let's see if it can break through here. It would be nice to see it continue to break through. We had a potential for a bullish situation. If this breaks through and runs all the way up through our daily 50 exponential moving average, which is up here at 42 cents, we could get a nice little bullish move to the upside. And remember, we talked about that a couple of days ago on the 1 hour time frame, that was the case as well. So when price was down here, we said if it were to break above the 50 exponential moving average, and sure enough, boom, look at this, it rejected here, but then it continued making its move up before running into that current triangle resistance. Now we'll also notice that same pattern played out just recently yesterday, came down below the 50 exponential moving average on the 1 hour charts, and boom, it's having its blast off. We'll see where it goes. Let's go ahead and check this out real quick. Heikin-Ashi candles on the 1 hour, we can see that it bursted above that. So this would be a breakout point right here. Didn't quite get to that level. If we jump to the 4 hour charts, still same scenario. It needs to break above there. Let's look at the 15 minutes. Where did this candle get to? Look at that. It broke above that 1100 exponential moving average that we talk about all the time. That's a really key level. It's really interesting. So this would be our 15-minute supply and demand candle here. And on those, we use purple, present day. Boom. Yeah. So that's where it got to. It got into that 15-minute that 15-minute Heikin-Ashi supply and demand zone, got right to the top of it and rejected off there. There is a potential of it continuing to make its way up. Right now it rejected. Let's take a look on the 30-minute scale here. Check this out. So we did break above the 15-minute 1100 exponential. The 30-minute one's right here at 40 cents. So that would be nice to see a nice pump all the way up to there. We got some really good volume coming in over the last hour and a half or so. If we look at the RSI, we are extremely overbought. So I don't like that. It could continue run, trade sideways in the RSI for a little while it pumps up. But at the same time, when price moves up fast, what does it do real fast as well, guys? It comes down real fast. And so as we take a look here, if this was a run up, this was a big, big bullish move, where would price potentially come back to retest? Be this candle right here. That's got to be blue. Blue. And that's that 37-cent zone. All right, so it came up so fast. Now watch to see if it comes back down, retest. Or what's really cool, because it did just break out of this triangle pattern, it might just retest the triangle and make its way back up. But regardless, we do have our RSI about to flip bullish potentially or reject. So tomorrow's a big candle. That candle actually starts right now. You can see the candle just started and we're already up 2% today, but it did run into that little zone there. We'll see if we can make a breakout here. Checking over with Ethereum. Ethereum is doing the same thing. It's trading sideways. Really interesting. Has not had a burst of anything. You can even see the RSI is lying flat. No volume, no pressure, no nothing. Volume has just been continuing to die off, as you can see right here. Let's look at our supply and demand zones here. We do have this block that is still acting as that resistance on the daily, right? So after it dropped out of that block, resistance, resistance, resistance. So if that's the case, and it continues to use that as a resistance, the next level down gets us over into here. That's at $1,119. The bottom of that's 1,005. And then ultimately it could make the break of the 878 zone. And then what I'm looking for to have happen is a return to the daily supply and demand zone from way back in the day. And that would get us in the range of over here, $622 for ETH. That's the downside I'm looking at. However, if we start to make a nice move to the upside, it has to break this level, that 1,220. It has to break 1,220, which is exactly where the 14 exponential moving average is. Then it has to break the 50 exponential moving average. Then it has to get up to the 1,100 exponential average, which it can because it's done it before. All right. And then we can get to our supply and demand zone, which is here at 1572 and 1667. So there's ups and downs. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Do not buy or sell anything. We talk about it. Checking out Bitcoin real quick. So Bitcoin, we talked about this. If Bitcoin on the 1 hour chart breaks below this line, a solid break, look at that. So it was down here, right? And we said, if the 1 hour breaks down here, which it came and tapped it. That's crazy, man. It did not break it, but if it breaks it, it's going bear. So right now it has potential to shoot up as well. And that would be coming back up to this supply and demand zone up in here, which gives us the level of 16,935. If we lose these levels of support and we drop lower, then we have this level here at 1637 coming in. And then we have, actually, let's box this one because this is more accurate right here. We have that 1640. And then there's a big one here, which is that 1608 and 15805. So those are some levels we're watching now. And then, of course, if it gets to that November low that we just had recently, that was that 15,481. That's definitely a possibility coming back below there. And we could even come back deeper than that. Remember, this was the June lows. There's still lots of bearish momentum coming in. Look at this on the daily. This trading sideways, though, it's building for some sort of move here, guys. It's building for a move. And it's interesting because more than likely the move will be up and it's going to like get everyone fired up, right? It's going to be a fake move up and then slam down. And in fact, what we have been covering is price needs to get above this 4-hour exponential moving average, the 4-hour 50 exponential moving average, which is all the way up here. I mean, price could get all the way up here to like 17,170. People are going to get fired up. Oh my God, it's coming. The bull run, man, it's coming. And then wha-bam. So that's what we have to be very, very, very aware of. So keep that in mind. Hey, something else to keep in mind, you've got to check this out. Join our team.
If you're ready to earn an extra $200 to $3,000 per day in passive income, just like the Run Guys do every single day, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, then click the link in the description of this video to learn the Run Guys' #1 way to start earning passive income online with crypto today.